We have a couple write-in candidates for great show moments.
Yeah.
There was a moment when Reggie Miller, our good buddy, tackled McLovin in the Los Angeles studio, and they went over the top of a chair. A lot of people like that one.
And I just worry that somebody's going to get hurt. But Reg came out, and I just remember he tackled McLovin, and they both went over the chair. Great visual there. Reggie joins us now. He will be calling my Lakers at the Kings coming up Thursday night at 10:30 Eastern on TNT. Reg, how are you?
Well, that flashback moment of me taking out McLovin was kind of like the Richard Sherman hit last night on the kicker a little bit. You know, I saw a wide open shot and I went in and I took it. That's basically end of story.
But that's the way you played your career. You saw a wide open shot and you took it.
Exactly. Give me the ball. If it's wide open, I'm going to shoot. And I would say 85% of the time I'm going to make it if I'm wide open.
I thought of you last night when Steph Curry hit 13 threes in a game, and I was wondering because it's Donyell Marshall and Kobe who were tied with Steph with the old record. And I said to Paulie, I don't know how many Reg had. Did he get to double digits? And what did you find out, Paulie?
I don't think I've ever got to double digits.
I think 9. Did you do 9
Reggie
twice?
had 8 twice in a game.
8 twice in a game.
God, I'm so disappointed in myself.
Yeah, but
I am so disappointed in myself, Theodore.
Yeah. But if you were playing now, and if Ray played now or Larry played now, because Larry was probably shooting 1 or 2 threes a game back then because it just wasn't part of anybody's game plan.
You know, let me say this too. The three, very prevalent in today's game. But let's give Steph and Corver and Clay and all the great shooters, Damian Lillard, let's give them all the credit for making them. Because it's easy for us to go back and say, well, if Ray, if myself, if Dale Ellis, if we played in today's generation, we would be smattering these records as well. I want to give credit to those guys because it's easy for us, you know, for me to try to fill Steph's shoes. Would it be nice to play in today's era? Yes. I played, to me, in the golden era. So I'm happy about that, but I am not going to hate on a guy knocking down 13 threes. I mean, I was shaking my head. Watching the game, I just kept shaking my head like, this is video game. This is really video game.
But it was a reminder game for me, Reg, because we haven't seen anything from Steph Curry this year. Hadn't been over 30. He went 0 for 10 from three-point range against my Lakers. Durant's leading the team in scoring. It was one of those, oh, that's right, Steph Curry is still the best shooter in the game.
And I think people tend to forget that because, you know, obviously the headlines are with the signing of Kevin Durant and, you know, obviously coming with that. And I think I said this on this show, that they were going to have to separate who was going to be the alpha male. And I said even before the season, Kevin Durant is your best player. So out of those two players, something was going to have to give. And we've seen early on, and if you're Steve Kerr and the coaching staff, and I know everyone thinks the sky is falling up in the Bay Area, I mean, we're only 7-8 games into this, people, and it's going to take a while for them to figure out that pecking order and that chemistry because it does take a lot. It is going to take some time for them to find that. And between those two players of Curry and Durant, they were going to have to find that pecking order, and I think it's starting to manifest a little bit.
Reg calls the Lakers at the Kings coming up Thursday night on TNT. What are we seeing from the Lakers now that you think is actually going to play out the rest of the season?
Number one, I will give Luke Walton all the credit because living out here, after every single Laker loss, he holds those young guys accountable. And that is the hardest thing to coach and teach in the association because most young players and most young teams, it's hard for them to fathom, okay, we got to move on to the next play. Most young players and teams, they like, you know, the sulk. They like to get upset. They can't move on and go to the next play. Luke has done a great job of holding them accountable and having them being able to see the next play. And that's very difficult for a young team. They're going to still take their lumps, but they play hard. I thought that if it wasn't for them picking, like Lou Williams, having those key veterans to help a D'Angelo and a Julius, fantastic locker room. It's just a great mixture. They play hard. Before the last 2 years, they rolled over and played dead, the Lakers. I'm sorry. I hate to say that even with Kobe. They rolled over and played dead. This year, you're going to have to beat the Lakers. They're going to play hard each and every night.
Yeah, I like what I've seen, and I like tempo. And I said, if I'm a Laker fan, at least I'm seeing something in the embryonic stages that might grow into something that's really fun. Maybe one of the best things that happened is Randall, broke his leg and, got hurt, and that allowed him to get Ingram in there to add a little more depth. Not that you would want that to happen to a good player, but even Randall has sort of developed into a Draymond Green type for them. And I think they're close to being an entertaining team on a nightly basis. And I think, Luke understanding that with that, because you can't go, hey, we're going to do Golden State system. No, you can't do Golden State system, but I think you can
have the personnel.
Yeah, you can make a hybrid of Golden State system and, use portions of it. And it feels like Luke's trying to do that with the Lakers.
Well, allowing them to play, allowing them to make mistakes, because that's what young players and young teams will do. But most importantly, Theodore, holding them accountable. If you look at the pressers of Luke after games, it's not, okay, we're young and we made mental. No, we did this wrong and we have to get better. And he calls out names. And you know what? This goes back to the old thing I say about Pat Riley and why he's one of my all-time favorite players or favorite coaches. Good and great players want to be coached, and they want to be coached hard. That's the truth. No one wants an easy route, and that's why Pat Riley has been one of the great coaches of all times, and I think that's why Luke Walton is on his way to being a good coach.
25 years ago yesterday, Magic Johnson had his press conference where he announced that he was HIV positive. Do you remember where you were?
Yeah, I was in Indiana, and to me, you talk about the sky falling. Because as you know, Magic was a mentor when I was at UCLA. We looked up to Magic. And, at the time, early 90s, the education of HIV and AIDS, it wasn't as extensive as it is now. We didn't know. We thought it was a death sentence. Mm-hmm. So here I am thinking, my hero, my idol, the guy, my mentor that I looked up to, that the days were numbered. And 25 years later, the smile is even bigger, and what he's done for the African-American community, and, to be a part-time owner of the Dodgers and a fantastic businessman. It's interesting because, when I was fortunate to go into the Hall of Fame, my first three calls, obviously I called my dad, and I called Cheryl, but the third person I had to call Magic because I wanted him to walk me into the Hall. Because that's how much he meant to me. So, yeah, I thought the sky was falling. I thought it was a death sentence as well, but I'm just so happy, seriously, because that's how much admiration I have for Buck. I call him Buck for Magic.
But you played, when you were at UCLA, were you playing pickup games with the Lakers?
The absolute, I will always remember, the best pickup games in the world during the summer back in the mid-'80s, because you had the Lakers team, Magic, Cooper, Byron, Kareem would come up, Kurt, A.C. Green, all the our UCLA team. Then you had a team full of pros, Isaiah, Mark Aguirre, Kiki Vandeweghe, Michael Jordan would come through, Larry came through a couple times, and then you would have like a NBDL team. So we had four teams, and we just played round robin on two courts. And you talk about the best basketball, unscripted. Now, Magic called fouls on every play, and they always won. But just to be able to witness it as a 18, 19, 20-year-old kid, it was the best basketball education. I mean, every day from 2 to about 4:30. And then in the mornings, we would work out on Drake Stadium, like at 8 to about 10. Run the stadium, run the stairs, do push-ups, do pull-ups. And then we would go play. It was the best. I mean, learning basketball from those guys. Magic and Cooper, they taught me how to be ruthless, how to be it was great. It was absolute best, Theodore.
Who was the best playground guy you played against? Because there's always those guys who are just great playing as a pickup guy. They just can't. It doesn't translate to playing organized basketball.
Funny, I'm going to give you one name, and I'm going to see if you can remember this, because he didn't have a great pro career.
All right.
But he was okay in college, but you talk about the Summer League. Do you remember the swingman from Syracuse? His name was, I believe it was Steve Thompson.
From Los Angeles.
From L.A.,
Yeah.
yes. During the summer, he was like Michael Jordan. You could not stop this dude.
Well, he dunked all the
Seriously,
time.
I mean, oh my God, he was, and he had a pretty good career at Syracuse, but it just could not translate at the next level. But
I think
you
he was
talk
there
about
with
during the-
Cycli and Sherman Douglas.
Yes, exactly.
Stevie Thompson.
Fabulous guy, but great summer player, but it just could not translate at the next level.
Wait, was he Harold Miner?
Well, I'm not going to go there.
well, wait.
I'm not going to. Yes, in the same class. Yes.
Okay.
But at least Harold Miner won the slam dunk competition, right?
Yeah. He was supposed to be. Remember, he was Baby Jordan.
He was supposed to be Baby Jordan.
Oh, you don't want that nickname.
No.
No. You don't want that.
No.
You don't
No,
want that.
you don't.
All right, Reg will have the Sacramento Kings against my Lakers coming up Thursday night at 10:30 Eastern on TNT. Aloysius?
I like how you've just adopted the Lakers now.
Yeah, they're good. They're fun now.
They are. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, and that's all I was asking for.
Okay, so here's our case in point, and we can talk about this next Tuesday.
Okay.
Going on the road versus Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good test for a young team. They should either be in the game and make it close. I don't care if they win or lose, but don't go up there and get blown out. You've got to grow each game. You've beat Golden State. You've beaten Houston. You've beaten Atlanta on the road. Show maturity. Go to Sacramento and compete. Don't go there and lay an egg. That'll let me know if they're a mature team or not.
Is Kevin Durant at the front door? I hear the dogs barking.
Yeah, he is. I'm going to go let him in. We got to go run the hill. My watchdogs at their finest.
Thank you, Reg.
You're the best, Theodore.
All right, Reggie Aloysius Miller Jr. III.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.